Hey, you guys, back again, another Saturday. I am here holding space for you to release anything that you need to at this time, or if you're wanting to get advising on something specific, whatever the case may be, I'm here for you. Feel free to, if you feel comfortable, call in or leave your message or leave whatever you're wanting to release or needing advising on in the chat. And while I'm waiting on you guys to either call in or leave anything in the chat, I'm going to be reading. Let me go ahead and drop this link, call in link for you. Hi, YouTube girl. I appreciate you being here as well. Yes, I am reading the same book. I'm saving this book specifically for coming on live with you guys. Besides, I've read it before, and I'm a pretty fast reader. It's nice to read it slow, take my time. When I finally move to a new book, I'll let you know. Of course, you're welcome. I think you asked me about this book in the first lab I did, and I think that I dropped a link for it there as well. Oh, you did? You got it on Amazon? Well, I hope you enjoy it. I think it has a lot of powerful things to say, especially if you're going through a transformation in your life. Mm, yes, please do. Leave it in the comments or in a chat in one of my lives. If I end up getting to my favorite quote in this book while I'm on live, I'll share it with you. I haven't gotten there yet, though. Yeah, it is a pretty quick read, or it can be. Like I said, I'm taking my time reading it this time. Thank you. I never really thought too much about it, but I appreciate the compliment. Oh, you asked what my skin routine is? I wash my face mainly. um, I do. There is a mixture of things that I have done in the past. I'm not currently doing that though. So I have had a face mask that I've created, I've put together and worn, but I haven't really had the time to do that so recently. But my main thing at this time is just me washing my face. I do recommend Rachel Clay for your skin though. If you want to make a face mask, it's very good. I used to The mixture that I used to do was a mixture of Rachel Clay, honey, and also cacao powder. All those things together. And if you need a little bit more exfoliation, you can add what is it? It's walnut shells, ground up walnut shells in it. That's if you need exfoliation. And afterwards, jojoba oil, which is natural. It's the closest thing to our body's natural oil sebum. So it doesn't just sit on your skin. Yeah, I, I don't have 12 steps. You said, did I create it? Yes, I created it. Um, when it gets to stuff like that, I do a lot of research and I like sometimes making little elixirs and stuff like that. Um, there's a there's a store that I like called Mountain Rose Herbs. They're very, very good. I like their products. Um, However, they can be kind of slow shipping wise. It's really, really good. All of their ingredients are really great though. I think it's based on Washington State. The second place I guess I would recommend is, man, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a apothecary site that's also really good. And since you ask, I'll leave links in the comments for it for you later off this live. But yeah, I used to do a lot of that type of stuff, making body lotions, hair stuff. I've helped some people grow hair back on their head and stuff like that. And I used to sell it at farmers markets and in different, more small owned businesses. So if you're acne prone, it is a good clay for that. It's very good. If you need something that's a little bit more, even if you're acne prone, I would recommend you be gentle to your skin, as gentle as you can. Some people like to use Aztec clay, um, but I feel like that's really harsh. I think Rachel clay is a good clay that isn't too harsh. So I still think that's the best one. When I was researching the three that I was kind of like considering to add into my face mask was either Aztec clay, French green clay, or Rachel clay. And Rachel clay seems to have be a little bit better than French green clay, and also not as stripping as Aztec clay. So it's a good middle. You're welcome. Yeah, Aztec clay is really harsh. So that's why Rachel clay is a good clay. It's not harsh. It's not as harsh as Aztec, and it's not. I feel like French green clay could be a little bit more. I don't want to say more harsh, but it leaves something out. So Rachel is a good middle, I would say. Well, if you do, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's helpful for you. It's funny as we're talking about this. The part that I'm at in the book, it says it's inner beauty that matters, not outer beauty. But then it does go on to say, well, that's not really true. If it were, why would flowers put so much energy into attracting bees? And why would raindrops transform themselves into a rainbow when they encounter the sun? Because nature longs for beauty and is satisfied only when beauty can be exalted. Outer beauty is inner beauty made visible. Hmm. Hmm. I can understand that. I can say I've experienced feeling kind of something similar before. I have learned or understood that it is important when you. Yeah, I've understood that it's important to, as much as you can, especially when what you desire to create or build, that it's important to just protect your dream in a sense, especially when it's so fragile. And too many different energies, knowing or being aware about it, can try to pull it in different directions and change it or shift it in a way that you didn't really originally desire for it to go. But one thing that I've understood, Spirit has made me understand. One thing the Spirit has made me understand over and over again is that what is meant for you is meant for you, and nobody can take your blessing or your understanding away from you in that way. Even if it may seem or feel like that at this time, it's not really the case. And maybe there's some sense of you having been made aware to this certain understanding with this person to help you protect what you are moving towards, you know? It's about helping you to protect your blessing and what understanding spirit is wanting to bring forth for you that way. You said, what do I think that quote means? Well, from what he says, it starts off as inner beauty that matters. It's inner beauty that matters, not outer beauty. And then he says, well, that's not true. I think sometimes, you know, we get away from that understanding. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder in a sense. You know, so some people they say, oh, it's all about the inner beauty, but you are often before somebody speaks to you, you're attracted to a certain outer understanding about them, and he's acknowledging that. I think that's being acknowledged. People may not like that that's the truth, but it is a lot of times, you know. So um, I could say I've been in an environment that was beautiful, and later on felt like, okay, well, even though this environment or this person is beautiful, I feel the difference in their energy. But a lot of times people don't necessarily, especially if they're not in a, if they don't open themselves to being more aware, they don't necessarily feel the truth of what this person may be hiding and within themselves if it's not as beautiful as the outside. So yeah, like people do tend to be or move toward what they feel is more attractive in a sense, and he's acknowledging that. And also, I think it's also acknowledging that it's okay to want to, have yourself look nice or look pretty or look attractive or feel that way. There's nothing wrong with that. Granted, everything is about balance, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to look good or look nice. The outer beauty makes the inner beauty. Are you asking what do I think he meant by the outer beauty makes the inner beauty? Was that the question? Yeah, it really is a good book. Has a lot of good nuggets pertaining to wisdom. Do I recommend you reach out to this person and let them know what they're doing? Well, I can't tell you if you should reach out to them or not. I think that it's important to acknowledge if you feel it will accomplish anything for you. Okay, you're saying that, yeah, there is a little bit of a delay. So you're saying I was already answering the question about your quote? Yeah. But I can't tell you if you should reach out to this person or not, but I think it's really important to just decide if anything will be accomplished in you doing so. Will anything change? Will anything be accomplished really? Is there, in a sense, understanding of giving this person any more of your energy by doing so. I really am not. Oh, I'm really the type of person that'll just block you though. So that's part of the reason why. Like, I just, if I feel like you're moving funny, I'm not about to ask you a whole bunch of reasons why or excuses pertaining to that, because that's just, like if I trust my intuitive understanding about what I see, I'm not going to negate that. I trust myself. I know that I'm moving in a balanced way. And if you trust that you're moving in a balanced way and you see it for what it is, then um, that's that's just the truth of it, you know. Besides that, we don't really live in a world of accountability. I think that there's still a lot of room to grow when it comes to people taking accountability for their actions. We live in a place where a lot of times people, it's easier to gaslight or make somebody else feel like what they know or feel is the truth is not the truth. And so if you feel like you should reach out to that person, I think you should trust yourself in that sense. But I think it's important to ask yourself if anything will be accomplished by that. Will it change anything? Will it move anything forward in this way pertaining to this? And also, it's really just I think really the biggest thing is that, do you want this person to be a part of your life? If you want this person to be a part of your life, that's different. If I feel like there's somebody I want to be a part of my life, or I feel that they're meant to be a part of my life, then maybe I'll have a conversation with them about something. But it won't be too many conversations. You might get one out of me, but no. So it really just depends on what you're wanting with that person. Well, if you don't want a relationship with that person, then maybe you freed yourself. Maybe this was an opportunity for you to free yourself. I've had experiences like that with people. I understand. I can understand that. I used to be worried about justice and injustice. I don't worry about it so much anymore, to be honest, because I really just trust, the universe to take care of that understanding. I mean, I have seen instances of it too, to like really help me know that, hey, this is going to get taken care. I wasn't asking to be shown that sense of that justice. So yeah, I did. I dropped the link, the live stream link, or I'm sorry, I dropped the link to call in at the top of it, but I can re-drop the link if you don't see it. Yeah. Hardest thing sometimes is to just trust. Mm. You said, what do you do to get over the anxiety of it? Of the situation itself? You feel like it's consuming you? Hmm. Well, part of the understanding that I've gained pertaining to emotions that you may be feeling, especially anxiety, sometimes it is about allowing yourself to just have the space and time to process it. You know, it's, let's say, for instance, sometimes people might, go running or do this or do that to deal with the anxiety or stress they might be feeling pertaining to certain emotions. But I find that that can just be kind of a displacement. You know, you could, in some sense, you could write it out. You could also scream it into a pillow or something. It doesn't finding a way to get it out doesn't necessarily have to be talking to that person or reaching out to them. I think it's also the understanding of moving or discovering what you're wanting to do for yourself pertaining to the situation. Yourself, like as far as how you're wanting to move. I know the situation probably makes you angry, and also makes you feel, in some sense, very slighted. And really, it would go back to you finding a way to put in that energy to work for you. Not necessarily, because again, as much as we may think that giving angry energy or mad energy to a person is you getting back at them, it's just you giving them energy. You know, giving energy to somebody, it doesn't have to be a positive thing. They can be fed from your energy, even if you're giving them that quote unquote negative understanding. So it is important to, just be sure that you're not giving your energy away to this person, even in a quote unquote negative sense. So, how can you put that energy to work for you and your environment how you want it to? And also, it could be one thing that also could help too is talking to yourself about what you feel. I think that, people really got out of the habit of having conversations with themselves about how they feel the way they feel. Or let's say, for instance, if I'm I'm upset about something. Part of me is, your ego self may be upset at something, and it's upset at the actions that have been taken overall, where you allowed yourself to move in a way that it feels has brought you harm. So, it's could be also about forgiving yourself and apologizing to yourself and telling yourself like, "Hey, I see that the way that I moved was not beneficial to us. I see that I need to move differently to protect us. I see that I need to move with more awareness. I promise you I will, you know? So please calm down. It's okay to have those type of conversations with yourself. And in doing so, you are showing yourself that you are aware, you are awake, you're listening, and that can help to assist in calming that energy down. Well, that's good too. Blocking that person's energy from everything, from having access to you. That's good as well. It's definitely a good start. But yes, don't be afraid to have conversations with yourself or apologize to yourself and just, be in tune with yourself. Every part of you is alive and waiting for that, waiting for you to be aware and to listen to it. Every single cell. So the more you show it that you're giving it attention, the less it has to have you in this survival mode or this anxious mode pertaining to that. Well, thank you. I'm glad if it assists you in any way. Yeah. But I've experienced feeling betrayed or feeling let down by people and things like that. And really, the more that I showed myself and talked to myself and had those conversations with myself where I let myself know that I was going to be better to it, pay attention to it, do my best to not disregard when it was trying to make me aware of things, it myself began to trust me more. You'd be surprised how things don't always turn out the way you think they will pertaining to things like that. Just because you feel that this person has more of this or more of that and they could do whatever the understanding is, nothing can be taken away, especially if built from a place of it wasn't built from a place of balance and really in a sense of fairness. Those things matter. They do. You said she can move quickly. Well, the best things that are built, they don't get built quickly. They get built from a place of surety, brick by brick, and you making sure that it's done in a way that is, conducive to long term stability. So they, so they. I'm sorry, I don't understand this last message. You said, do they though? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Do they though? Ah, well, I think that. Let me give you an example. I don't really want to talk about any like big businesses, but let's say, for instance, Boeing. It was a world class company known for its standard of quality, but then it got away from that. It got into the understanding of, you know, producing as quickly as possible. And this has happened with a lot of businesses, especially now in this day and age, in this time. And the more they get into that energy of, as quickly as possible and trying to impress or anything else, it falls out of balance. Oh, yes, those things matter. Balance and fairness. There may be people that will tell you otherwise that they don't, but that stuff matters. It does. Thing about it is that in the human state of understanding, a lot of times people think of stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't want to say short term, but it is. And when you step into um, living in the divine timing of things, spirit sees times differently, and short term understanding could be, oh, this they feel like this lasted, or this business was good for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That's short term to spirit. So we're talking about building a legacy understanding, building something that lasts. you know a lot of times the better understanding is to build it, and more stable fashion, not trying to just quickly rush through it, especially if it's not something that you came up with. If this isn't something that was came from this person in a state of their own mind. They're not the blueprint to it. Yeah, that you said it wasn't built from a place of balance. Okay, you said, but do they? Well, I mean, this is just my opinion. I think that they do matter. I think there are many stories of it being showcased how much they matter. If they didn't, then we wouldn't be living in a time where we have all these documentaries and things coming out about all of these business understandings and everything else, and how they were, their downfall has happened because the understanding of how they actually built it, was coming out and showcasing that it wasn't built in a specific way. It may be the understanding of this ego led understanding having its moment, of being at the top, but not being able to maintain that understanding because it wasn't built in a solid way. Yeah, it is kind of delayed. I don't know if it's mixing up any of the messages either, but yeah, there is a small delay. So I may be seeing some of these messages late as well. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do, though, you know? And you just have to do your best to focus on what path feels right for you and a sense of truth within yourself. How do you make sure that you're on the highest and best timeline then? Well, I mean, what I do for myself, as far as like making sure that I'm on the highest and best timeline, is listening to myself, listening to what feels right for me, being aware, asking myself, am I on my side? You know, am I doing everything in my environment that says that I'm on my side? The people around me, am I on my side by the connections that I have in my life pertaining to those people? You know, am I on my side pertaining to the things that I'm doing in my environment, whatever activities I'm engrossing myself in? Am I on my side? And if I'm on my side, then I'm in the highest and best timeline for myself as long as I am on my side. Whatever understandings that I'm doing in that way, if I can ask that question, am I on my side in each sector of my life and see that I am, then I'm moving in my best and highest understanding for myself. So, am I on my side when it comes to the people that I have in my life? If they're reflecting a sense of balance toward me and no shadiness, then yes, I'm on my side in that way. Am I on my side and, the activities that I'm taking, doing it in my life? If those things are reflecting me moving the way that I want to move for myself, then yes, am I on my side as far as being kind to myself, taking care of myself, putting into my body what feels right? Then yes, am I on my side pertaining to the self-talk I have? So that's the question that you can ask yourself if you're trying to figure out whether or not you're on your best and highest timeline for yourself. Are you on your own side? Ask yourself that question and, depending on the answer to it. Yeah, I've always found it helpful. You're welcome, of course. Knowing everything you just said, what's my one piece of advice for you? Make sure you're on your own side. I think that's it. I think even, what you're discussing pertaining to that situation is about, helping you to be in more awareness about making sure that you are. Because again, everybody in your environment is a reflection of whether or not you are on your own side. Because if you are on your own side, there's certain energies that you won't allow to be a part of your environment. And don't be afraid to block some people. Cause I'll block you in a minute. I'm not gonna lie. Now I won't feel any way about it. I'm not about to ask you if you was moving shady. My soul said you was moving shady. That's what I trust myself. I trust myself. It's very, very important to learn to trust yourself. It took me a lot to get there. I can't say I've always trusted myself so heavily. I've gone through my own anxiety and stuff like that, but I trust myself. I trust me. And I trust me to do the utmost to make sure that I'm safe and I have people that I can trust to be um, balanced in my life, in my environment. Mm. There was one point in my life, honestly, when I say that I just removed or it's easy for me to block people, um, I really just went on a journey with myself and I removed everybody from my life. You did block. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do for yourself. But yeah, I felt like I had a lot of energies moving shady like in my environment. So I just kind of got rid of everybody for a time. I let everybody go for a time and I told Spirit that I would trust it to bring energies in my life. And if any of those old energies found their way back into my life, okay, but I just let everybody go. Not because all of them did anything to me, because I wanted to let go of trying to control whether or not certain energies should be in my life. And I even did it with my family. I took some space from those energies, you know, and I just allowed them to come back in naturally. And so there's very few old relationships I have in my life at this time. I have a few, but they also did the work to be there, be a part of my life. So yeah. But yes, ain't nothing wrong with that block button. I think we live in a society that kind of gets into the habit of holding on to people, holding on to old understandings. There's nothing wrong with connecting with somebody you were connecting with in high school, but do you really need to? Yeah. And also, um, sometimes you can also, for me, I think of it as creating space for new energy or new people in my environment. If you don't have room for the new energies that are meant to be a part of your life and environment, how can they come in? Yes, it definitely is okay to have a season of alone time. Very true. They do. Exactly. How can you have all the understanding that spirit wants to give to you if you're in a crowded room full of so many people? That's very, very true. Because the spirit has given me a lot of messages, but it did so when it was just me and it. And how can you be in alone when in a room with God? So yeah, I think part of it too is that um, there's a quote that says our God is a jealous God, and I think that's partially true. I think our Creator wants us to have a season a lot of times of being alone with it so that it can talk to us and be with us. And then it's like, I'm gonna give you everything you want. I'm gonna give you everything you want, but just let me have some time with you. You're my baby. I want some time with you. You're my child. I want some time with you. Give me this time with you, and I promise I'm gonna give you everything that you want. But let me just have this with you. Yes, but I definitely agree with you who that is. It was actually hard for me to get back to being more open to people because I really began to enjoy not just being alone, but being alone with my creator. It's very nice, it's very peaceful. But, I'm also going to move how it wants me to move. It wants me to be more open, it wants me to connect. It says that that time of it just being so heavily me and it is not over, but that I'm meant to connect more with people outside of it, then that's what I'm going to do. So it really is about a seasonal thing. And maybe there'll be a season where that's meant to happen again with me and my creator, and I'm very much okay with it. Yes, appreciating a different season. Even though we like to pretend we're different from nature, we're not. Everything has its season. Okay, what's your question? So you said, what if you're starting a new business venture, but it's entering winter and you don't want to slow down? You're saying um, you feel like pertaining to the business venture is entering winter? Your question is that law true? So you're saying that you feel it's entering winter is the business venture entering winter? Is that what you're asking? Okay. I mean, it could be that. I can't say that the seasonal understanding is always so linear pertaining to what you're going through and your environment or your life. It's not necessarily that linear. Yeah, I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you were talking about because we're headed into winter, or you're talking about the business venture itself. But yes, I don't think it's always so linear in that understanding. Everybody's seasonal understanding could be different. Yes, we can be like this season. So does that mean things can't move? Again, it's related to it goes back to your own cycle of energy. Imagine that it's not imagine, you're your own little world. Your seasons of energy are for you. That understanding is tied to you. You're your own little world, your own being in that way. So we are like nature in the understanding that we have our seasons for things, but I don't think it has to necessarily be tied to, okay, winter is coming, so this is the understanding and related to what's happening in our, hemisphere at this time, you know, that it's the same thing. It's really person to person. You said you don't like that. I hear you. But as I but as I've said I think more than once on here, I just move in the divine timing of things and trust that. Because again, divine timing has always been very right on time. I haven't always felt like it was. I have not always felt like it was. But it really has been. At the end of the day, I realized, oh, yeah, it was right on time. It really was. And everything revealed itself or unfolded itself, and I understood it as spirit wanted me to. One thing about us, about us human beings, boy, we love to pretend that we're in control. We do. We love to pretend. It makes us feel a sense of structure or a sense of peace to think that we are. But I think if nothing else, what um what has happened, you know, with the whole pandemic situation this past few years, I think that should just let people know just how much we are not in control of a lot of things. Everything happens in divine time and in divine understanding. But, it takes a lot of balancing through your emotional anxieties and stressors to accept that. I didn't just get here. I used to very much be a control freak. I had to be everywhere on time. I had to always have everything in its place, all of that stuff, you know, until spirit changed me in that way and helped me appreciate that. It's okay to not have everything be in a set understanding. And I was never in control of that understanding anyway. But my hour is up here with you guys. I appreciate the ones who were viewing and the ones who spoke in the chat. And I will be here next Saturday holding space for you to come in to ask your questions if you need advising on a specific topic or if you just need to release something. And I hope that in being here, YouTube girl, the situation that you were talking about, this space, you were to some extent able to leave some of that energy pertaining to that situation in this space. And you know, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but I trust in spirit balancing that out for you, or helping you to work through that energy for yourself. You're very welcome. All right, you guys have a good night. I'll see you next Saturday.